Hi guys, welcome to another video on the Passion Project playlists. And last time I said I was going to get an headset. I got this noise cancellation headset by Edifier, and it's horrible, like actually very horrible. So forget about that. I would just be using this edit the video, like remove the extra background noise cancellation later on. So let's get straight to business. Straight to business. So in today's project, I'll be looking at this. And the inspiration for this project, welcome to Timeline. I was looking for, like, I'm very bad at naming things, like very, very bad. So I was like, timeline. Inspiration for this project came from this. Yeah. From this. Dot Ghost Solomon's portfolio. So Solomon has this, right? This is basically his online CV, and he updates it, and he adds data like this. So welcome to my timeline. Nothing fancy, guys. Just like a diary where I dump stuff because I don't want to forget something like that, right? This is timeline. Day was born, March 23rd, April, July. Stuff like that. Shasha, basically, I saw this and I was like, how can I build something like this? But anybody could build it. And I wanted to build this for like a very long time, but I've been, as you could have guessed, very lazy. And now with this strike and I'm at home and I'm just writing code, I was like, all right, I finally have time to like build something like this, right? Make sure this recording is always recording, because last time it wasn't, and I was like thinking it was. And well, it ended in tears. So, alright, it's recording. Let's continue. So, I guess the first thing I did was create a new Nuxt application. I could have used anything. Why did I use Nuxt? For no reason in particular. Last time, the last SVG phase build that I did on this playlist was Vue. The next one I'm working on is Vite. So I've done Vue 3. I've done Nuxt. Nuxt uses Vue too. So, and the next one would be Vite. Yeah, I've started the one code then. I'll tell you about the next projects after you finish this. So the first thing when building something like that was to get the entire project. Okay, I would leave this tab open to reference it. I got this entire code, dropped this inside the Nuxt application, inside this page Nuxt application, right? Then we started to write the logic so that this data is populated by a data source, not just manually inserted. So I took one of these and you look through it. Basically, the CSS of this uses the nth child, uses child elements to assign colors. So the first child, second child, third child, fourth child, then it repeats. If you see, it's a repeating pattern, right? So basically, as I extracted the HTML into its own component and then looked through it, then started the CSS, it just literally worked. Then I was like, man, I can't leave it like that. I'll need a landing page. And if you see the first version of this, it was horrible. There was no dark mode or light mode. But I was like, man, I'm lazy. I know I'm lazy, but let me just try and go all out. So I inserted dark mode, used because I have UI and UX skills that I learned like 2019 or so. Used those skills that said, I'm choosing colors. Black and white are very good colors. Shades of black and white would go good for anything. So yeah, I used a shade of black and white and then started. So let's go. That's basically the brief intro about the project. Let's go into like code. In Nuxt application, you already know, or you might not already know. Well, these are Nuxt. When you create a new Nuxt application, it's similar to this. I added extra files like functions, firebase, and the rest. So assets, also the assets, and the only assets here is the SCSS for the timeline. Although why I named it like this, why there's timeline then one as the name is. Because in the future or later on, if I have time, I don't have time, but if I have time or somebody out there has time and they want to contribute to this project, a way of contributing is creating other styles of timeline. So probably you do not want this style, you might want another style. All you have to do is come here and create two as the name. And then when you want to use the style, you would have to select it in the setup menu. You'll see the setup menu as we get to it. Okay. So basically, before I go to the code, I think I should show you the application flow itself. We have get started. Then you click here. Then you enter your title, you enter your description. If you try to, it throws up an error that you can't enter. I never expected this from you. Kindly fill the form. Then you fill this in. This is the setup menu. Title and description. Then so this was created because there's a bug. You can try to fix the bug, but if the length of this is not sufficient, it's going to break the CSS. And I was like, I could try and fix this, but this would be easier, and I could insert instructions. So the instructions are here, and basically you can now come here and add stuff. Test 1, add. Test 2, add. Yeah, I'm using view transitions for the animations, and I'm using GSAP. Test 3. So a good use of this is creating timelines for your events. Another very good use is using it as a diary, like what Ghost did here. And there can be your journey as a software developer. Today I learned this. You can post it there. Tomorrow I learned this. And you can put it on Twitter, 100 days of code timeline. And every day you learn something, you can come here and update it. You can edit the timeline. Implemented all those features. I was not planning on implementing it, but Zara was like, she wants to use it as a diary. And I was like, all right, use it as a diary. So that's 3. After using 3, I save it to the backend. It saves and comes back to the landing page. I come to the timeline and, well, I created this to timeline. This is the timeline I just created. Now, if you click the title, you can view the timeline. Then you can share this link and anybody in the world can view it. You can post it on your Twitter. Then you can edit. Now you can come here and I can edit. You see all this animation, the back one, change, all this on smooth animation of things. There are ways to clear them up. I know how to clear them up, but it will take extra time. And I actually have to go and walk before they fire me. Shasha, you can, like that now. That's the empty states. But it shows that because it's fetching data and it should show a loader. But it shows the empty state because the loader is animating in. So it takes like 5 seconds for the soccer's loader, 0.5 seconds for the loader to show. So that empty state shows. That can be prevented if you just ensure the state is plain when it's loading, like when it does not be confirmed. You can extra state and do that. Then you can share, but since this Mac does not like to share, to show up this error, something went wrong, but it has copied the link to your clipboard. And now you can take this link and paste it somewhere else, and voila. And you can also delete. This is trash, so I'll delete it. Yeah. So you see that delete function too. Firebase gives you a method to listen to events, but I was not able to I could implement it, but it was giving some issues. That's another bug that someone there that likes open source and wants to contribute to this project can fix. You should be able to listen to events, but since my Firebase is giving me this error, if you want to contribute, tell me, let me add this to the Firebase project. And it was giving me errors, so I just left it. How I fixed that was to reload the page, which is not also time efficient. It's bad. It's bad. Like now I have to collect 2 reads because it's going to read this document and read this document. And Firebase will just be laughing because that's money. So let's move on to the next page. Then there's the demo, which is basically just Lord Ghosts. This is the Lord Ghosts portfolio here that I just copied and pasted directly. Yeah. So the demo was what I started with. Then I broke them out from demo. Then we have the GitHub that you can go to. I'm missing Granite. This is GitHub. 125 commits. Interesting. So that is the sign out. I can sign out and sign me out. Then when I try to get started, you need to sign up to create timelines. Or you need to sign up to view timelines. Also, you can create or and the sign up is just one simple logic. I just hit Firebase, sign in with Firebase with Google. Firebase function. Nothing else. No sign up page, I can't come and get myself. So yeah. Yeah, exposing my emails like that, not safe at all. But I'm trusting you guys. Won't do anything with it. Kindly won't do anything with it. So let's go back to the code. Let me see how many minutes. This is already 10 minutes. The remaining 10 minutes should be going through the code base. So for those that want to contribute, this is how it would work. Timelines are just the CSS. This is where the CSS is. Main.css is basically my Tailwind file that has to be implemented. Like, when you are working with Tailwind, you have one Tailwind.css. This is similar to that Tailwind. Where I import my fonts and general styling, then things like button inputs, layers, utility classes, and whatnot. Yeah, at apply. That's basically what we have here. Then we have helpers. What's this in helpers? Oh, helpers was when I was trying to structure the data, right? How I needed to know how to structure this data, and this can use TypeScript. Yes, I could have used enums here instead of using object.phrase. And yeah, I went with something similar in data structure. I will explain why I did not use TypeScript. I'm using views for state management. So basically, every input field here is saved locally. As you are typing, it's being saved to your local storage. So if anything should happen, you exit the page, you leave it, you reload, anything should happen, that data would be saved directly on your local storage. Same with the issue of, I have to come again and restart the filling process, and as you are typing, everything's being saved. That's the whole goal of it. So you don't really lose any data unless you want to lose data. But views has an issue with TypeScript, especially its use storage, that it does not allow you to. TypeScript just throws one error when you try using dot value dot the actual value you want to get from view use. That is use storage, and there's an error there, like someone has opened a Stack Overflow, and I've not really seen a solution to that. If you're one guru, you can fix that and convert. If you can fix that, then you can convert everything here to TypeScript and it would work. But since TypeScript is just JavaScript, you can also write JavaScript. It would work. This is timeline 1, which was basically, once again, me testing timelines, right? This timeline 1 is literally the demo, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's the demo. It's just looping through one value, this value, and reading it over and over. If you can see the dates, the text here, all the same. So what we use as the demo. And this way, if you want to create another form of timeline that is different from this, or probably the design is different, you would come here and create so, and this way the link to that demo, if you need to display it, would be add container. Add container is basically, after I do this container here is the add container, the text field and the dates. And since the add container can be used in both edits and save, you need to pass in the props type. By default, it should be in save mode, but if you pass in edit as true, then when you click save, it's going to edit any existing, the current file currently have, because it needs an ID. So I'm going to edit that current file. Alert box is the alert box. I never expected this from you. Kindly fill the title and the description. That's the alert box. It uses a composable use notification that has user alert and use loading, active message and closing. So if I click the X, probably I do this. It has 5 minutes, but if I don't want to wait for 5 seconds, not 5 minutes, 5 seconds, I click that X button, closes it. That's this transition, sliding transition here. Then we have the loader. You will see the loader in action when I go to something that actually needs loading. Something like this. This is the loader. I actually like the loader in dark mode. So, Firebase is fast. Yeah. If I was to sign out, I'm probably signing to another random account that I have. Probably one of my company's accounts. Yeah. Imagine me clicking show password. I'd be like, cancel. Yeah. It's my ugly face. So I've signed in. I'm trying to, okay. So you see this does not have any data. This account does not have any timeline because there's no timeline. This is what you get. And there's a bug here. I never expected this. But when we get there, we'll undo it. So we have the setup, which is basically just setup page, that form that you saw that has, you see in the setup page. It's in its own components. Is there any reason? No, I just felt it to be cleaner. Then I have the composables that holds the function. It holds a lot of function. This global has a use user composable that allows you to save and declare user. Saves it. Well, the logic is self-explanatory. There's a ref pointing to local storage. Get data from local storage. Use notification, as I explained earlier, is used for notification, loading, that loading screen you see, and the alerts. And it's also in TypeScript, which is weird inconsistency, TypeScript and JS. But I explained why I can't. Setup global. Setup, basically anything that has to do with filling of forms and timelines and submitting timelines. So on that setup, you have your setup that has sort array, that sorts the array. Your timeline now, it would always sort according to time, right? So it sorts the array according to beginning to ending, because that's what the timeline should really be about. So you can actually put your dates anyhow and sort it. Add dates, add data, add the data, delete a timeline. Save data, saves it to Firebase. Save edit data is when you edit an existing file and you want to save it. This is the function you call. It's very similar to save data. And you have to use duplicates here. Long story, I discovered I did not really need it, but I had to duplicate this array using deep cloning method. Sure. Format the dates, and I used it on the front end to get me these dates. I need a timeline to get me the dates. Basically, let me sign it to another account. I should actually stop doing this, signing in and signing out. For Firebase flags my account, and yes, Firebase can flag my account. Yes, it does not care if I'm the user or the creator or the owner of the account to flag my login details, and I will not be able to log in with the account again for a while, like 30 minutes. Then yeah, inside there we have, how many minutes have gone? Almost 20. I have to round this up. Inside there we have analytics, just tracking. We have odds. Listens to odds change and saves the user, or if no user is there, clears the current user. Firestore does all the communications with Firestore, get user timeline, delete timeline, edit timeline, save timeline, get single timeline. It does all those. That's Firestore. Then initialize the Firebase. If you want to use this application, you can put a random key as your process.env, or you can message me. My contacts will be below. I wanted to use Firebase function, but apparently Firebase, I've reached my quota. for the amount of things I could use, so I could not really use enable pay as you go place plan. So that sucks, but meh. Then we have default layout. The default layout where the loader is and the alert box is, where I save all those, and also stock between light and dark mode. This should be a component, but once again, then slot for the state, and all of them are all fixed, so they don't really affect the layouts. Then node modules, pages. Under pages, we have add, where you add new timelines. We have demo. You know what demo does? Just displays one. Index, which is basically the first page you'll see, and the logic for that, Google odds that you get from used user and the rest of them. Then we also have the setup, which just holds that setup components, which is that form. Then almost all these pages have middlewares. Then under timeline, we have the natural timeline, where you see all the timelines you have created. This is timeline. I see all the timeline I've created here. So I just have to then if you enter URL inside this, you can view a timeline. If you click the title, you can view this timeline. Then under edit, let's say I wanted to edit it, I can also edit it. It will edit I would have this box here at the ending in which I can edit. So I'm rushing because time has already gone, and redirect for Netlify store that I thought I might use but I did not really use. And basically, the rest are self-explanatory and just jargons, configurations. There's nothing really yet to use. Yeah, I'm using Lottie Player. I know I could have installed a view specific component, but I just loaded this using CDN. So that's what I did to the head. Or you can make a pull request and do that. You'll see the Lottie Player. Just search a global search for Lottie Player. I use the component twice in a not found, and so imagine this. Imagine I input the wrong ID or someone does. Obviously that will not exist, so you get the not found page, and I'm telling the user to come meet up. Whoever sends him a not found link. So the config file. Nothing to see here. That's all. Moving on to code then. So that's all for today's video. This took me about how long? I think I started Friday and I was lazy Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, I was writing code partially and I did not think I would add this much features. I was already done by Friday. No, I was done by Sunday morning. But I started adding more features and more checks. And like, let's just go all out. And well, I completed it not so long ago, because there was one last feature that I said she wanted to be able to edit it and use like a diary so that she can share people about a timeline and how far she has come and all the progress she has made so far. Yeah, so I had to implement the edit feature. So that's all from my end. The new project here, as you can see, I've already created the repo. Code then basically is code pen and dev dojo in one. So CodePen, you write snippets of code that you can use. Dev Dojo does this. Dev Dojo.tails. Yeah, this Dev Dojo. They provide you with this a drag and drop interface in which you could create components that already do exist. And CodePen literally, I'm a lazy dev, everybody knows that. And I do not want to rebuild things I've already built. So the idea of CodePen is I create components, style them. Other people can come. The only way CodePen will actually make sense if the community of open sourcers come and actually create components and contribute to it. So I want to build a site. I'm too lazy, but I know code then exists. And since it's open source and it's free, I can just come find the component I want, copy it, select the code, and paste it. Copy, paste. Very easy, very smooth. Yeah, that's all. I've not made my today's video. Shasha. That's all from my end. Hopefully you guys contribute to this. Also, I got a mail that someone wanted to contribute to SVG Faith Builder. I'm like, yay! Hopefully, you contribute to this also. Bye, guys. Already 25 minutes. Way longer than I expected. This video is actually very long. It could have entered 30. So I'll set a limit to never allow you to pass 30 minutes. Video limits. See you guys later in the next video. And yes, before I go, like and subscribe. I should have said this, but like and subscribe. I beg. Bye, guys.